Genesis. Jesus is the seed of the woman who will crush the serpent's head. Genesis chapter 3:15. Exodus. He is the Passover Lamb whose blood saves us from death. Exodus 12. Leviticus. Jesus is our high priest, making the ultimate sacrifice for sin. Leviticus 16. Numbers. He is the bronze serpent, lifted up for our healing. Numbers 21, 8-9. Deuteronomy. Jesus is the prophet greater than Moses, who will speak God's words. Deuteronomy 18:15. Joshua. He is the commander of the Lord's army, leading us to victory. Joshua 5:13-15. Judges. Jesus is our deliverer, rescuing us from sin and oppression. Ruth. He is our kinsman redeemer, who saves and restores us. Ruth chapter 4:14. 1 and 2. Samuel. Jesus is the anointed one, the true King of Kings. 1 and 2. Kings 1 and 2. Chronicles. He is the reigning king whose throne is forever. 1 Kings 2:45. Ezra and Nehemiah. Jesus is the restorer of our broken lives and hearts. Esther. He is our advocate, standing in the gap to save his people. Job. Jesus is our Redeemer who lives, bringing hope in suffering. Job 19:25. Psalms. He is our shepherd, rock, and the King of glory. Psalm 23:118. Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. Jesus is the wisdom of God, guiding us in truth and life. Song of Solomon. He is the bridegroom, loving his church with deep affection. Isaiah. Jesus is the suffering servant and the Prince of Peace. Isaiah chapter 53, 9-6. Jeremiah and Lamentations. He is the righteous branch and the weeping prophet, bearing our sorrows. Ezekiel. Jesus is the Son of Man, breathing life into dry bones. Ezekiel 30. Daniel. He is the fourth man in the fiery furnace, delivering us from trials. Daniel 3:25. Hosea. Jesus is the faithful husband, redeeming his unfaithful bride. Joel. He is the one who restores and pours out his spirit on all flesh. Joel 2:28. Amos. Jesus is the plumb line, measuring our righteousness. Obadiah. He is the judge of the nations, bringing justice. Jonah. Jesus is the greater Jonah, spending 3 days in the grave to bring salvation. Matthew chapter 12:40. Micah. He is the one born in Bethlehem, bringing peace and shepherding his people. Micah 5:2. Nahum. Jesus is our stronghold in times of trouble. Habakkuk. He is the God of our salvation, bringing joy and strength. Habakkuk 3:18. Zephaniah. Jesus is the mighty one who saves and rejoices over us with singing. Zephaniah 3:17. Haggai. He is the desire of all nations, bringing glory to his temple. Haggai 2:7. Zechariah. Jesus is the king riding on a donkey, bringing salvation. Zechariah 9:9. Malachi. He is the Son of righteousness, rising with healing in his wings. Malachi 4:2. Matthew. Jesus is the Messiah, the King of the Jews. Mark. He is the suffering servant, bringing redemption. Luke. Jesus is the Son of Man, coming to seek and save the lost. John. He is the Word made flesh, the Lamb of God. John 1:29. Acts. Jesus is the risen Lord, the power of the church. Romans. He is our justifier, bringing salvation by grace through faith. And in 2 Corinthians, Jesus is our comforter and the first fruits of resurrection. Galatians. He is our freedom, breaking the chains of the law. Ephesians. Jesus is the head of the church, uniting all things in him. Philippians. He is our joy and the one who strengthens us. Philippians chapter 4:13. Colossians. Jesus is the fullness of God, holding all things together. 2 Thessalonians. He is our returning King, bringing eternal hope. 1 Timothy. Jesus is our faithful mentor and mediator. Titus. He is the blessed hope, guiding us to live godly lives. Philemon. Jesus is our advocate, paying our debt and setting us free. Hebrews. He is our great high priest, offering the perfect sacrifice. James. Jesus is the Lord of our faith, inspiring good works. 1 Peter. He is the chief shepherd and our living hope. 1 John. Jesus is love, teaching us to love one another. Jude. He is our protector, keeping us from stumbling. Revelation. Jesus is the Alpha and Omega, the Lamb who was slain and the King who reigns forever. Revelation chapter 1, 8, 5, 12.